Limp Bizkit and Eminem caught smoke with each other right around the time I was rocking with them. But I'm it's a cool sound bite, but I don't have any proof of that. It's plausible. Welcome to the nation. I'm your host, your president, your tour guide, Mr. Monster Man Rocco. I'm the landlord, the owner, tenant, the janitor. I'm ops the damn floor. Let's go. Meet the greatest BootCampClik rapper that never was. Rock this monster. Those are not my words. Those are the words of For the Love of Hip Hop on YouTube. It's a blog I just seen that came out a couple of days ago. And respect to the platform, but they got some things wrong. They got a lot of stuff wrong. I feel like they didn't have malicious intents. I don't feel like they intended to be malicious, like they was trying to play me or nothing like that. But I feel like they did a lot of guessing. I feel like it's a lot of misinformation out there. And I wasn't sure how to do this, but I'm going to just do it this way. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to just tell y'all what happened in real life. In the beginning, he made some mistakes about how the group started and all that, how me and P met and all of that. I'm going to start from there and go all the way up to the front. So officially, me and Ruck knew each other since we were children. Since I was 9 years old. I met him at his 11th birthday party. It was a surprise birthday party. Our mothers was friends. I knew his little brother Stuck B first because me and Stuck B were both our mother's youngest, which made us naturally closest to our mothers. Ruck lived with his other mother. He had two mothers, right? And at his other mother's crib was where his birthday party was. I was at this party. This is where we met. We didn't connect then, right? We ran into each other later when I was at a club with his homeboys. His homeboys went to high school with me. I was in a high school that you go to when you get kicked out of your high school. Salute to Redi, right? High school redirection. The names sound crazy. But anyway, I was in that school with his homeboys. I connected with them, and I was in this club that I would have never been in with my homeboys, because we didn't fraternize around those parts of Brownsville, right? Not really. But I was in this club, and Ruck was in this club too. There was some rapping going on. There was a lot of people rapping. Everybody was trashing it except Ruck, me, and my partner. I didn't know who Ruck was. I only knew Sean at this point. You know what I'm saying? But his homeboys used to tell stories about this Ruck person, right? It caught my attention, my name being Rock. Who is this Ruck dude? And there was legendary stories. I found out later on that Sean, I found out that night, well, not that night. A couple of days later, we was in the park after the club, and we was just talking about whoever was in the club getting busy. Like, all them niggas was trash, blah, 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 blah. Only ones that got busy was you, your cousin, and Ruck. I'm like, huh? Ruck? Wait a minute. That was Ruck? And then Ruck. So I literally re-met Ruck then. I met Ruck. I already knew Sean, but that was when I met Ruck. And no, we didn't decide to be a group then. We had no such conversations then, as the people, the gentleman stated, or the AI, or whoever stated in the video. It took a long time. Me and Ruck we ran around doing dirt. We rapped. We was running with Tech and Steel and a whole bunch of other Seiko, rest in peace, Woo Woo Will and Norton and Scott, Free Wind Sweet. It was our crew. Strang, my man Cap One. We ran around doing dirt. We rapped, but we didn't choose to be a group until I got locked up and came home. Well, while I was locked up, me and Ruck would speak to each other on the phone, and we made that decision over the phone. You know what I mean? So we became a group in 92, 93 when I was 19. You know what I mean? He didn't walk up on me outside the club on a rainy night and ask me to be his partner. That didn't happen. So anyway, fast forward, we running with boot camp already. We were about to be called boot camp. The name boot camp, the first time I heard the words BootCampClik were probably out of the face of tech, pause, standing in Cephalo projects, my projects with me, Still, and a few more of us, and Tech uttered the words. And we were already a crew though. We was already rhyming together. We all already took rap serious. We were just all trying to find our way. Still was the man with the plan. And I've told this story numerous times. He was the one who linked us up with Buckshot. He used to go hang out with his friend. I refer to them as his secret friends. He used to go hang out with Buck and them. And he would come back to the block. But 5 feet of Black Moon got family in my projects. And he would come back to the block with him. I get locked up in '92. Me and Ruck having these monthly phone calls. And while I'm locked up, I recognize 5 on TV, and I go, "Oh, sweat." I'm like, "Oh, because, like I said, I didn't know Buck at this point. Only 5 because he had family in my projects and he used to come through and all this. But when I saw 5 in the video, it all made sense to me because Who Got the Props was already out before I got locked up. You know what I mean? And I looked at that. I made the connection. I'm like, oh, 5 and Buck. I'm like, 5, oh, those must be Still's secret friends, right? And in that moment, I knew that my life had changed. But I was already, you know what I'm saying? Ruck was already with the issues. Just that, like he said in the video, Ruck's partner wasn't really taking it that serious. And my partner, who was a Lady Champagne, was a beast. She was working with her. She had another group, and you know, she was tied up. So that's how Helter Skelter started. We had one other name, not multiple other names. We had one other name that I'll never utter on the camera. You know what I mean? But I'll tell y'all this. The other name is in a song on Nocturnal. It's in a line on the song. Good luck finding that. Anyway, Ruck came to me with the name Helter Skelter one day we was on Blake Avenue, right across the street from Brownsville Projects. He told me, he was like, yo, Helter Skelter. I'm like, what's that? That's our new name. What that mean? He explained it. We Helter Skelter now. You know what I'm saying? And that was what it was. First album. Well, we already BootCampClik. Not rush so much. We already BootCampClik. We running with the crew. We start doing shows with the boys. Duck Down is a management company. It's about to become a record label, right? Buckshot, Smith & Wesson, I believe they still having some sort of issues with their old label. So Drew High and Buckshot, the executive, not the artist, business buck, they start shopping Duck Down, the label, and they use Helter Skelter and OGC, our brothers, to carry that flag. So through that incubation process, the Fab Five was born. Helter Skelter, OGC. Smith & Wesson and Black Moon would be out on the road a lot. Helter Skelter and OGC would be at the Dog Hilly, which was Top Dog's crib. And we would just be in there writing raps, practicing, blah, blah, blah. That's where the song Blah came from that. You know what I mean? And then we came up with the Flaw in the real studio, right? So that happened. He shopped us kind of as a package deal. Everybody wanted us to do a Fab Five thing. We thought we was too cool for that. No, we helped the Skelter and OGC. Fab Five was a one-off, and that's how we tried to keep it. You know, we thought we were smart. But anyway, put out 2 albums. Oh yeah, Duck Down secured a deal for their label, you know, for our label, on Priority Records. In the clause. In the deal with Priority was a clause that if Duck Down and Priority ever split ways, if they ever parted ways, they reserved the right to grab Helter Skelter. Pause. Right? And when Duck Down and Priority split after our second albums, because I just sped past, we put out 2 albums on Priority. You understand what I'm saying? And they all charted. You know what I'm saying? They made it in the top 100s and top 25. Things like that, you know. He mentioned all of that stuff that I never really paid that much attention to, but it's notable. Watch the video. That was success to us. You know what I'm saying? Well, and even if it wasn't success, when you look back at it, it was success. You know what I'm saying? Success may look a little bit different as you age or whatever, but anyway, when Duck Down and Priority did part ways, Priority did something weird. They exercised their option, but not on Helter Skelter, only on me. Pause. Right? So they sent everybody's releases except for mine. And I called Drew Ha. Well, Drew Ha called me and told me that. I'm like, what does that mean? He was like, I don't know. So I went to Cali. And ended up with a solo deal. Right? Well, that didn't happen right away. Brian Turner, who was the CEO of Priority, he was like, yo, when I had a meeting with him, and he was like, listen, I wasn't trying to be funny style. I just wanted to buy myself some time. I wanted a shot at your solo project, blah, 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 blah. I heard everybody doing solo albums. I wanted a shot. We ain't never had no problem, blah, blah, blah. Speak to Drew about it, because I'm like, Drew, this nigga's bugging. He tried to blah, 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 blah. Drew was like, nah, you should do that. You should probably do that. Blah, 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 blah. He's like, it's scary out here. The game is changing. This was in like 99, 2000, right? Probably like 99. It's like the game is changing. Scary out here. Deals ain't falling off trees. I'm like, all right. I talked to Ruck about it. Ruck, you know what I'm saying? I didn't get no resistance from nobody. I didn't talk to everybody about it, but I didn't get any resistance. You know, niggas was like, do your thing, get money. And plus, I thought it was an opportunity for me to carry the flag, right? I go over there to Priority. I don't have Duck Down anymore in between me and Priority. Pause as a buffer, pause, or a mediator. You know what I'm saying? Filter. And things went well for a while, but then they didn't. You know what I'm saying? There was things that Priority said that they was going to do for my album. You know, I recorded that most of the album. It was just the bells and whistles that I needed for the album that I wanted to add. The album was supposed to be called Planet Rock. I wanted to have the Rock Johnson, Dwayne Johnson on there, Chris Rock, Kid Rock, Vin Rock. And Priority had relationships with most of these people. So I felt like this was within our means. But I laid down the skeleton. I did all of the songs, and I just wanted to act, and that never happened. So now me and Priority found ourselves kind of at odds, and I guess they didn't value me too much, because they let me go. I wanted to go, and they was like, fine. I'm like, I bet. You know, they could have thought. I mean, like, they didn't let Razcash try to get off of Priority for years, if I'm not mistaken, and he had wild. You understand what I'm saying? I wanted to leave, they let me go. Maybe they thought I was going a little bit more, you know, they thought I was going to be on some Ice Cube shit, run up in the label. But anyway, when they let me go, I snagged another deal with DJ Lethal, DJ for Limp Bizkit and House of Pain. Like, immediately. I wasn't without a deal but for a couple of months. Like, when I was ending the deal, when I was ending the Priority deal, I was already in talks with DJ Lethal. And that deal came through, and everything was running smooth for a while. We bought the album from Priority. We only made a few changes, and we changed the concept. But then DJ Lethal's whole label got dropped from Geffen Records. He was on Interscope Geffen. Lethal Dope. Salute to Big Lee, right? His whole label got dropped, and I'm not sure why. My friends always speculated that Eminem got us because Limp Bizkit and Eminem caught smoke with each other right around the time I was rocking with them. But I'm you know, it's a cool sound bite, but I don't have any proof of that. It's plausible, but whatever. Salute to M, right? But through that, by this time it's like 2001 going into 2002, and when that happened, when two deals just disappeared in between like 99 and 2001, or 2000, whatever that little 2, 3, 4 year period was, about 3 years. 2 deals in 3 years, I would say. Makes sense, a good guesstimation. When those 2 deals went away, I started to look inward. Pause. I stopped. I'm like, is it my fault? Am I doing something wrong? Am I difficult to work with? I never thought I was difficult to work, whatever. So I'm just, you know, maybe I need to learn the game myself. And months turn to years and years. Now, I was still rapping. I'm putting out little mixtapes and, you know what I'm saying, AWOL Soldier, Veterans Day, which y'all won't never hear because I was tripping. Shell Shot, all of these, you know what I'm saying? I was being creative. I was dropping certain shit, but I didn't have the infrastructure of Duck Down, Priority, or any label. Meanwhile, Ruck was still with Duck Down, with that infrastructure, and he just went ham. Like, when Duck Down was going through Duck Down, the way they tell the stories, like, they was on their way out. Like, Duck Down was on their way out, and, you know, P just kind of put the label on their back but that infrastructure was there, and you know they was able to see him to the finish line. Well, relatively speaking, you know, he was able to see a resurgence and all that. I just never had the infrastructure. But what was never mentioned was the fact that we were blacklisted. You know what I'm saying? The fact that I did that I'm still putting out music now. The fact that I put out an album, I put out 2 solo albums, Rockness AP, Ether Rocks, and most people who I've seen write about it, I'm not even talking about the people I know. Most people I've seen write about those 2 albums, they call those albums instant classics. They say very nice things about those albums. You understand what I'm saying? And we in an era where ain't none of these rappers are really making money from rap. So are we all just artists that never happened? Respectfully. I don't like it. It's not, you know what I'm saying? I have to make those corrections. Anything else? Did I miss anything? I don't know. I've been here for a long time. You may see, I may drop a video tomorrow on I may drop another video shortly after saying, and another thing, with anything I might have forgot. But if you made it to the end of this video, hope this clears things up. Hope you learned something. Hope you appreciate it. A lot's happened. We've been through a lot, but it ain't over. Stay tuned. I got a lot happening right now. Stay tuned for M3.
I'm one of the realest you ever gonna see. I ain't come here to lie to you. Niggas done with a lie to you. I get Beanie Siegel's first album, but Paul Pierce even, they out the truth.